Hello and welcome to Health Watch, coming to you from the stables of Advent Cable Network Nigeria Television. Of course, we are your trusted platform for conversations that promote healthier living and better well-being. I am Promise Njoko Adibe, and it's so great to have you join us today. Now, viewers, in a country as culturally rich and diverse as Nigeria, food is more than just nourishment. To us, it is identity, tradition, celebration, and community. Now, from jollof rice to pounded yams, akara, amala, ofo suya, and countless local delicacies, the Nigerian diet is vibrant and richly rooted in our everyday lives. But amid rising food prices, busy schedules, changing lifestyles, and increasing health challenges such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and malnutrition, an important question emerges. Are Nigerians truly eating a balanced diet? Today, on our Health Watch, we will be discussing this topic: balanced nutrition and the reality of the Nigerian diet. We'll be looking at the gap between what we should eat and what many Nigerians can actually afford or even have access to. We're also looking at the health implications of poor nutrition and practical ways families can make healthier food choices without losing touch with our local meals and, of course, our culture. So, joining me to unpack this important conversation is Mr. Namde Abu, who is a clinical nutritionist. Thank you very much, Mr. Namde, for joining us on today's Health Watch. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thank you very much. And good afternoon.
Okay. Without boring, the whole viewers up, let's kick it up. Can you tell us what balanced nutrition actually mean in the Nigerian context, especially where a lot of families in Nigeria heavily depend on carbohydrate foods like, gari, rice, yam, fufu, and all that. Just talk to us about balanced nutrition.
All right. Thank you once again for having me. Balanced nutrition simply means eating different classes of food in the right portion so the body can get enough energy and to prevent diseases.
Okay, but then it's obvious that most Nigerians we actually just eat to feel full, rather than eat to stay healthy. Do you think that's a typical uh, um, nutrition? Is there typical nutrition with that? Because in our Nigerian plates, are we lacking some essential nutrients?
Of course, we are lacking some essential nutrients, but I will call it economic hardship because most families focuses on survival. They always want to eat cheap food to make to fill up the stomach, but not knowing that most of the food contains carbohydrates and absence there could be absence of fiber and protein and vitamins and minerals. So most of these things could lead to the person being overweight and being malnutritious nutritionally.
Okay, I said it is a very good thing you pointed out that poverty is at the top of the ladder. That's one of the reasons why most Nigerians just eat to get full. But then, how can an average Nigerian family maintain a balanced diet, in today's Nigeria, in today's economy, where the high cost of food, a lot of people can't afford eggs, they can't afford fish, they can't afford fruits and vegetables, and yet they're expected to maintain a balanced diet. How do you put these two together?
Okay, thank you for this question. I think healthy eating is still possible on a low budget. Families can still get seasonal fruits and vegetables. They can also eat beans, groundnuts, soya beans, akara, like you mentioned earlier, moi moi, and crayfish as an affordable protein. While adding more vegetables to soup is very, very essential. Then also reducing soft drinks and processed snacks can also help. And practicing portion control, which is very, very important, can also help an average Nigerian maintain a balanced diet.
You talked about seasonal foods. Huh? Mr. Namdi, that's actually very dicey. Yes, we know during the rainy season, we have vegetables and all of that. What happens after the rainy season is over? We go back to eating what? Because look at it this way, protein is actually becoming a luxury in most Nigerian homes today. How are there other affordable alternative that exist that Nigerians out there should know about? You talked about crayfish. Crayfish is actually not cheap.
Okay. Crayfish is actually not cheap, but yes, unfortunately, many families struggles to afford like you said, mentioned earlier, fish, meat, chicken, or whatsoever. But beans, we can have beans, something like beans, moi moi, soya beans, granuts, and sometimes milk in moderate quantity.
Okay. I hope Nigerians are out there listening. If you can, please get milk. If you can get beans, get groundnuts, get soya beans, according to our nutritionist here. Those will really help to, substitute where you can't afford egg and all of that. So Mr. Namdi, despite all of these things you pointed out, it's very obvious that most Nigerians would rather, you know, eat fast foods and soft drinks over healthier homemade meals. Is there a particular reason for that?
Yes. Okay. Most Nigerians prefer fast food because I would say it is cheap. It is cheap and it's convenience. It is convenience for them.
So does it make it healthier than the homemade foods?
It doesn't make them healthier because the more you eat processed, more of processed drinks or refined carbohydrates, you find out that this person might have a risk of having obesity or diabetes.
Okay, can you still go ahead, please? Obesity and diabetes is not just it. Can you please still point out, some health dangers of this excessive consumption of, sugary drinks, oily foods, and processed snacks that is actually more common in Nigeria today?
Okay, thank you very much once again. Let me say excessive eating of most processed foods or carbohydrate. Let me use carbohydrate as an example. Carbohydrate and processed food. Excessive eating of them might actually lead to these health issues. Not just at a spot, but when you're eating it, how will I put it? When you're eating it along the run, like when you take it as an everyday routine, we find out that most of these things could lead to all these things from obesity, from because it is a lifestyle thing. It has become a lifestyle thing, so it can actually lead to most of these health issues.
Let's talk about children. Let's talk about children because this malnutrition and all of that, you find it more in children. Um, can you tell us why many children in Nigeria still suffer malnutrition despite having access to food daily?
Okay, first of all, I would like to talk about lack of knowledge from most mothers because most mothers believe that if you are giving a particular child a monotonous diet that is giving pap, let's give an example, pap always, you're just getting a particular nutrient out of this food. And also there is no diet diversity because eating only pap can only give you a particular nutrient. Instead of diversing eating pap, then later on introducing fruits and vegetables gradually, then other healthy fats like avocado and stuffs like that. So I guess one of these things should be lack of knowledge. The other one is poor feeding practices, and the third one should be poor diet diversity. Then another one I would like to add is food, what they call it, frequency of feeds. Because sometimes when you ask parents that how many times do you feed your child, and they will tell you they feed only 3 times. Most of them will tell you 3 times. Most of them will tell you only 4 times, which is very poor for them to get the adequate nutrients they need.
Okay, I'm sure a whole lot of parents are out there asking, but then let me talk about the pap you mentioned. You know, for instance, I know when I make pap, I add millet, I add guinea corn, I add the corn itself, I add dates, and sometimes I add tiger nuts and ginger. Does that mean all of these are not giving a particular required nutrient? Is it just one nutrient to take? And then, of course, when you make the pap and you try to take, of course, you add milk and all of that. Are you not
Yeah,
getting
it's fortified.
a good nutrition from that?
Of course, you're getting a good nutrition from that. Like I said earlier, one of the problem is food diversity or food fortification. Let me use food fortification as an example. Like all you just mentioned right now is a very adequate meal for a child to get what he or she wants. But sometimes frequency of feeds also helps, because when you feed a child, a six to 5 year old child, 3 times a day, I guess that person is taking the right nutrients, but he might not get the actual kg for that particular age.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
It's make
But what you just mentioned now, food for education is very correct. It's good. That is what most mothers should do, not just giving only a particular pap. Because most of them, the mistake they make is they give only a particular pap for a child and avoid putting milk. Some avoid putting milk, some might put milk, but it is not still enough for the child to get adequate nutrients.
you talked about the kg the child is supposed to get. Can you please educate our viewers what exactly is the appropriate kg for children maybe of 6 years downwards?
Okay. There is a formula for that. Let me start from 0 to 11 months. Sorry, is a number of months plus nine. Nine is a constant, then divided by two. So let's assume that a child is 10 months and is weighing 4.5 kg. We already know that this child is underweight. Were you checking the formula that I just dropped now? 8 plus 9 is 17. 17 divided by 2 is 8 point
8.5.
8.5. So we agree that a 8 months child should be weighing at least 8 to 8.5 kg.
Okay, wow, so we need to always do the calculation. Is that it? But earlier you also talked
Yeah.
about portion control. I don't know how that is possible for us in Nigeria here, but let me now ask you, do you think Nigerians are actually paying attention to portion control, or are we just normalizing overeating?
Okay. Yes. Most we don't really practice portion control because in homes and social gatherings we normally we enjoy parties a lot. So from there, we always overeat, which is not really good. So I guess parents and everyone should try and avoid overeating, because overeating can also lead to overweight, being overweight.
But we have people who eat just once a day. Don't you think, though, for those who eat once a day and they eat very good meal, they eat to their full, would you say they are overeating? Or
No,
could that go in as portion control?
I can say it's portion control because our body is not designed to eat. As an adult, our body is not designed to eat 3 times daily.
Oh, really?
It is, yes, because I would say it is most of this food company that is making us eat breakfast sometimes in the morning. You will find out that cornflakes will come and tell you this is the best cereals for breakfast and so on and so, and you see that everybody will start saying, "Mommy, I want to eat cornflakes. I want to eat cornflakes." And most of these things are not. I won't say it is healthy, but most of the things in this what they call it fast processed foods are not actually 100% safe. You get it? Because most of them might have lost nutrients intensity or density. So the more you eat more of these Kellogg's foods, you add milk to it, add sugar to it every day. I won't say it is healthy to it. It is healthy to human.
You talked about breakfast. There is a saying that breakfast is the most important meal for the day. And now you are telling us as adults, we're not supposed to take breakfast. So what are we supposed to eat? Just lunch or dinner?
At least you can eat as an adult, you can eat 2 times in a day, which is okay.
Okay.
Which is okay. Yes, as an adult, at least you can start your first meal at 11 a.m. and second meal at 5 to 6 p.m.
Wow. Okay, adults out
Yes.
there, I hope you heard him.
So and we can also add maybe fruits to it to make it at least one snacks per day. That is 2.5 meals per day. I won't say three.
Ha. Okay, adults out there, did you hear that? Eat twice a day, add fruits and vegetables to it. But for the children, Mr. Namdi, what would you advise? How many times would you advise for the children to eat? At least 10
No,
years and below. How many
yeah,
times?
10 from below. At least for those ones that go to school, at least they can eat at least 4 to 5 times in a day. But from children who are just coming out from breastfeeding can eat at least 4 to 6 times in a day,
Wow.
which is okay.
So since we're talking about the children, let's talk about the roles parents play in, shaping the eating habits of children and teenagers. Do you think parents are doing enough in Nigeria to shaping that lifestyle for the children?
Yes, parents are trying, especially the mothers. They also play a major role because children learn from them, from what they do. If you give a child junk food or sweets or biscuits, they'll finally adapt to that. If you also give them vegetables, good water, reduce junk foods, they will also want to adapt to that. So I'll say parents play a major role.
Okay, viewers, we're talking to Mr. Namdi and we're talking on the topic balanced nutrition and the reality of the Nigerian diet. We'll be going on a very short break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Please stay with us. Welcome back, viewers. If you are just joining us, this is Health Watch coming to you from ACNN TV. And we've been having this conversation with Mr. Namdi Agwu, who is a clinical nutritionist. And he's been doing justice to some of the questions we've been dishing out. So earlier, before we went on break, we talked about the roles parents play in shaping the eating habits of children in Nigeria today. So, Mr. Namdi, I want to ask, how can schools and religious places and even government institutions, promote healthy living and nutrition awareness? How can they do that effectively?
All right, thank you very much. I feel schools and churches should encourage or adopt nutrition education. Then for schools, the government should see if they can try and implement nutrition as a course, so that where they could be teaching more of balanced diet and other nutrition courses. Then also, government needs to play a role by funding nutrition campaigns, supporting food security and agriculture, so that farmers can farm and foods can be cheap. Then let's go back to churches. Churches need to also organize youth programs about not just nutrition, about health in general, so that everybody can know better on how and when to eat better meals.
Nice one. That's really nice. But I think in some secondary schools, because I knew in my own secondary school I had to offer foods and nutrition as a subject on its own. Some do home economics, some do agriculture. So I think the government is actually doing well in that aspect. But like you said, more funding, more awareness should be created for students, to gain more knowledge in that regards. But you talked about more awareness for the youths. If the churches can do that, talking about religious houses, not just churches, even mosques can also do that. So
Mosque, yeah.
yeah, so can you please talk further, talk more on how poor nutrition contributes to common health problems such as hypertension, diabetes, obesity, fatigue, all of these. Earlier you talked about it on the surface. Can you please be a bit more detailed about it?
Okay, like I said, poor nutrition increases excessive intake. If there's excessive intake of sugar, salt, refined carbohydrates, um, excessive intake of starchy foods can lead to while there is poor fiber intake, poor of vegetables and stuffs. It can also definitely lead to weight gain, insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and weakened immunity.
But then, would you blame Nigerians? Because most of the time, that is what we have. You see someone eat yam for breakfast, eats rice for lunch, eats fufu for dinner. That is what the family can afford. So some people who work very hard, like bricklayers or mechanics and all that, after working very hard under the sun, they end up taking bread and any carbonated drink they see out there. Would you blame them? That is what their money can afford. Are you saying they are at very high risk of coming down with any of these health problems?
Yes, they are at very high risk of coming out from any of these problems because, like I said, excessive intake of bread and processed food can lead to several several diseases. Not just that, it can even weaken the immune system.
But so let's talk about fruits and vegetables. Why do you think some Nigerians consider fruits and vegetables as optional rather than essential parts of their daily meals? Do you think there's a reason for that?
Hmm. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of fruits and vegetables. Do you understand? People will feel they prefer eating. People will think eating fruits and vegetables might not fill up the stomach, but they will say like, why am I eating mango? Why am I eating this? I beg this one not dey full my belly. Let me just eat my normal fufu or gari or rice or to fill up my stomach. Not knowing that fruits and vegetables have benefits. They both have minerals, vitamins, fiber, and antioxidant that helps to fight bacteria. And it also good. Fruits and vegetables also helps in digestion and helps to strengthen immunity.
We've had people who have mentioned that when they eat fruits or vegetables, they end up having running stomach. But mind you, these fruits and vegetables were properly washed, and the vegetables that need to be cooked have been properly cooked, but they end up with running stomach. Is that a peculiar case, or is it expected for everyone who eats fruits and vegetables?
Hmm. That's a nice question. To me, I would say if it is vegetables, was the vegetable properly washed? Was
Yes.
it properly cooked?
Yes.
Okay, sometimes one of the function of this vegetable is to detoxify. Fruits and vegetables is to detoxify.
Okay.
So sometimes most people might have that symptom.
Can you point out some practical steps that young people can take to maintain healthy eating habits while still living on a tight budget in Nigeria?
We should do more, we should do cook more at home. Parents or everybody should try and cook more at home. They should also buy seasonal food, like I said earlier. Reduce soft drinks and processed foods. Drink more water. Eat more beans. Then include more vegetables to soup. Then also I'll take portion control, because portion control is the main.
Well, when you talk about portion control with a Nigerian, I don't know how possible it is. I don't know how possible it will be. But then, Nigerians, you had him. Portion control, he said, is the main thing. So let's talk about Nigerians and our traditional meals. Mr. Nnamdi, how can Nigerians differentiate between healthy traditional meals and unhealthy eating practices that have been passed over time?
I always say not every traditional practice is automatically healthy,
Okay.
but eating beans regularly, fermented fruit like pap, vegetable soups, and fresh local ingredients are always good. That's for healthy traditional meals. But for unhealthy traditional meals, we need to excessive oils in food, excessive salt and seasonings. Then frequent deep frying should be stopped.
Should be stopped. So if we stop that, what
Yes,
is the alternative?
it's not a must. You must fry now. You can do grilling and boiling. Frying is out of it, please, because the oils we eat these days are not healthy.
Wow. Wow, that's actually a bit so deep. Most of the foods we eat, if you don't fry them, I don't know. I don't know how the taste is going to come out. There's this taste, there's this sweetness that comes with. It's just like eating a fried chicken. A lot of people prefer the fried chicken to the boiled one. Are you saying we should stop that completely?
Yeah, they can grill the chicken now. It can be grilled. It wasn't be fried. It can be grilled, and you even enjoy it more.
So let's talk about let's talk about we're still talking about Nigerians, but now let's be realistic. What realistic, number one, realistic, number two, sustainable, not just realistic, it must be sustainable nutritional habits you think can Nigerians can adopt to improve our health without overspending?
I just said it just now. You have to do more cooked meals.
But even the home cooked meals, you need money to buy these things to come and cook at home.
Yes, we can get cheap things around us.
Please, what
Around
is
us.
cheap now in Nigeria?
I know things are not cheap, but with what we have around us, we can get. If someone can go to fast food and eat rice and fish, right? And of course, he can cook in he can cook in his house now.
But do you know the
Mhm.
average Nigerian doesn't even rush to the fast food to go and eat rice and chicken? The average Nigerian that is hungry ends up just buying a bottle of soft drink out there and maybe a little loaf of bread, and then he or she
I,
is done for the day.
small changes over time produces last healthy benefits. So if you do this gradually, I'm very sure that we'll adapt to it.
So you think this is realistic and you think it's sustainable?
Yes, yes. Because by if we choose our local food around us, I'm very sure that gradually we'll meet up.
Well, a lot of people eat our local foods, but it's still not cheap. It's still not. For instance, I give you a perfect example. A typical northerner would want to eat tuwon shinkafa and miyan kuka. Good. Miyan kuka, you can say is cheap and all that, but that rice for the tuwon shinkafa is on the high side. A lot of people can't afford it. If it's okay, let's do tuwon masara. That's the corn.
The corn.
It's still not cheap. That's what I'm trying to point out. It's been said, Gary is the hope of the poor man. Right now, Gary is no longer cheap. So
But a lot of people can afford
what
a
should
model
that
of Gary now. A
average
model of Gary.
Nigerian at home do?
Let's use average Nigerians.
Okay. What would you suggest? Because it's actually not cheap. Gary is not cheap. Tuwon shinkafa is not cheap. Maize itself is not cheap. Nothing is cheap. And you say people
That is
should.
why I said. That is the reason why I said portion control can help. It can help you save money and
We're actually not looking at portion control because it's good for the health. We're looking at portion control because that's what our pockets can afford. Is that it, Mr. Namdi?
yes.
Okay, we have to go. We have to go. Our time is fast spent. So before we go, can you share any last word or advice you have with our viewers based on our topic of discussion today?
Okay. I would say eating healthy does not have to be expensive. With small healthy food choices, we can greatly improve our health. Then we also need to know that prevention is also better than treatment. So
Mm,
let's work on ourselves, please.
mm, mm. I think I agree with that part. Prevention is better than treatment. So thank you very much, Mr. Namdiabu, for joining us on this conversation. I'm sure our viewers out there got so much value. I got enlightened too. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
And to
And
our
thanks for
viewers,
having me.
thank you. And to our viewers, it's been a truly enlightening conversation on balanced nutrition and the reality of the Nigerian diet. One thing is clear. Healthy eating is not necessarily about expensive meals, like Mr. Namde pointed out, or foreign diets. It is about making informed, balanced, and healthier choices with the foods available to us every day. As Nigerians continue to navigate economic realities and changing lifestyles, nutrition must remain a priority because what we eat directly affects our energy, it affects our productivity, it affects our growth and our overall quality of life. And like Mr. Namdi also pointed out, small changes in our daily meals can make a big difference in our long-term health outcomes. So, we hope today's discussion has not only informed you but also encouraged you to pay closer attention to your diet and overall well-being. Thank you, viewers, for joining us on today's edition of Health Watch. I am still Promise Njoko Adibe. Stay healthy, stay informed, spread the message correctly, just like you've received it. And see you next time. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.
Thank you very much, Mr. Namdi.